Well, Running Wild is a story I think I've always wanted to write all my life, not my writing life, all my life. My whole life is about 65 years. But when I was about 3 years old, I was read 2 stories by my mother. One was one called The Elephant's Child, which is by Rudyard Kipling. And the other one was The Jungle Book, also by Rudyard Kipling. And I venerated them. They were something so important in my life that when I became a writer, I didn't think that I could ever write a book about a wild child or about an elephant. So The Jungle Book, obviously, it was set way, way back. And Tarzan was also set way, way back. I wanted to set it now, but I could not find a way of getting a boy into a jungle with an elephant, which is what I wanted to do, which I believed in. Because kids these days, you know, they have mobile phones, all that sort of stuff. How can they get lost in this way? Or actually could have a plane crash, but that's been done before. So I thought about it and thought about it, and then sadly, what happens is that things prompt you to think, well, there's a way there. And there's a story I read in the newspaper, a true story, about a boy, an English boy on holiday in, I think it was Sri Lanka, but I'm not sure, but I think it was, in December 2004. And he was on the beach, and I think his parents were swimming, family was swimming, and he had decided he wanted to go on an elephant ride. They didn't have donkey rides, they had an elephant ride. And he was on this elephant, and I don't know, half a mile down the beach or something. Everyone was swimming. When the elephant suddenly became worried and stopped and looked out to sea and then got very frightened, broke away from the mahout, the handler, and charged up off the beach into the jungle with the boy still on board. The result of this was that the boy's life was saved. Now, that's a true story. But as far as I'm concerned, it was also a great story of escape in the middle of this terrible tragedy. I just thought it was wonderful. Well, I went to Sri Lanka, I looked at elephants, I went to look at orangutans, I read all I could about tigers, I soaked myself in the whole subject, and I thought, yes, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do this. There's another horrible thing which is going on at the moment, which is war. We have 2 of them going on, which we know about well enough, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. And I have thought for some time that it was important to write, particularly for young people, about what happens in war when people get killed, particularly people who you love. We see on television all the time photographs of soldiers who've been killed, and it's, you know, one evening on a television news. But what happens to the family of that soldier who's died goes on the rest of their lives, about the mums and dads and particularly sons and daughters of soldiers who died. What must it be like? So I tried in a way to reimagine that, and my story begins with a boy losing his father in that war, a boy called Will. And then the grandparents, being lovely grandparents, decide, well, look, what you really need after the funeral, you really need to be away, you need to be on your own, you don't need us around, you don't need friends around, you just need to be on your own in a lovely place in a different world and to recover. And they give them a holiday in Indonesia. And so they go. And then this thing happens. The tsunami happens while they're there. And I've got my boy, Will, on his elephant in the jungle. His mother, he thinks, is drowned in the tsunami. He's lost his father before, so he's an orphan child in the jungle. And the reason I wanted him like that is because with everything lost, he had nothing to live for now except the animals and the place around him, which is one of the reasons he takes so strongly to the elephant, to the tiger, which accompanies them from time to time, and also to the orangutans. It's the orangutans who people this story all the way through, and I'm passionate about orangutans. There are all sorts of needs in this book, and then the need, I suppose, that troubled me, I won't say the most, but troubled me just as much, is that there are, I'm told and I know it, 5 years, that's all, left for orangutans in the wild. After that, they're always going to be in zoos, breeding programs and things like that, or they're going to be in reserves of one sort or another, unless we stop hacking down the rainforests, burning the rainforests, planting palm trees instead of it, which is what we're doing, and we haven't stopped doing it, and they're going to die in the wild. I would hope this book might slow it down. So there was a purpose behind that.